Hi, I'm Scott Rocknak, and this is Stand Shore, a 1994 Webbers Cove 29. This boat is the pilot house. I'm 6'2", and looks like I probably have 6'3", maybe, headroom in here. The engine is below the floor, a helm seat, and there's a settee off to this side. A standard molded-in dash, colored GPS plotter, Ritchie compass, Morse controls, Teleflex gauges, C-Star hydraulics. It has an older unit in VHF, and it has a stereo. It's a cassette that's also a little bit older. Standard issue circuit breakers here for both the shore power 120 volt AC and 12 volt DC. This is a bilge pump control. The boat has 487 hours on the hull itself, but the engine was rebuilt this year with probably 3 hours on it. This settee folds out to a double. There is a hinged top here to the settee that flips out and sits on a cleat that's up here against the bulkhead. So to see how big it is, so if I'm touching here, my feet are just slightly over the edge, but it's a open back, so my feet have a place to go. So you can actually use this as a berth. The helm station has lots of room over my head. There is an igloo cooler that's used as a footrest, and that has its own little holders on the floor. I can easily see out the windows. There's an opening port here, or windshield, an opening windshield over there. There are 3 windshield wipers. The sides open up on both sides of the boat on the forward windows. Very easy to get to everything. The 29 has a big cockpit. You could put a full-length bench seat back here if you'd like. You can even do side seats. This boat is just open, but you can sit where I am sitting now. It's also possible to put a roller right here and have a dinghy come up into the cockpit. Still have plenty of cockpit room. Or you could put davits here and have a dinghy off the end of the davits. The boat has your standard cleats, midship, aft, and forward. On the cockpit sole itself are Bomar aluminum hatches, heavy-duty fishing grade quality. It's a good setup for the hatches. The way these hatches work is you pull up on the bar, and that's sealed, turn it, and then it lifts up. It's also sealed. It's a very rugged system. Again, it's commercial oriented, but it works well, and you really can't get a better hatch than that. This is a recent fuel tank back here, and it's on deck, obviously. It's easy to maintain. It's not below the floors. You don't have to take the floor up to get a fuel tank out. The settee works by folding out the cushion, folding out the seat bottom, legs pop down, and then put the cushion back on top. There's storage underneath as well, and that's access through 2 hatches. Radars are Furuno, fairly big screens, monochrome, works well though. Standard Horizon 170C. It's a few generations old, but they work well. They have CMAP cards that go in here. They're color, pretty intuitive. Power damp, Ritchie compass. That's recent. Depth sounder from Marine. This is 6 foot eye level. We're under shrink wrap, but it gives you an idea what your view would be like at standing height. To get down below, there's a folding companion hatch. Just tighten the arm, undo the bolts, and open the door. Down below we have a V-berth, an enclosed head, and a small galley. There's not quite standing headroom here, but if you're working in a galley, there would be if you're standing in the hatch. But for anyone under, say, 5'11", there is stand-up headroom. There's a door here, and behind it is the head, which is rather large for the boat. I'll show you that. The galley has a big deep sink and a 2-burner alcohol stove with storage underneath, and there is a ice box behind the sink. V-berth has a bunch of Tupperware cases on it right now. Everything's finished, pretty basic though, no inner liner. easy to keep clean. Galley is basic as well. Storage underneath. There's a hanging locker in the forward cabin. And the head is reasonable size. Standard issue head up on a platform. The engine was removed last fall and totally rebuilt, sent out and rebuilt. It's a Ford 351, so it's a powerful engine made by PCM, 5.7 liter. There's a fuel filter here. There's your heat exchanger. Batteries are over here. There's an macerator pump for the holding tank down there. There's access to your stuffing box, exhaust lines. A lot of things have been redone. Of course, the engine has all the things you would associate with being redone: new manifolds, new risers, all that sort of thing. Easy access, very simple boat. It's a decent engine, has a good sound to it, and pushes the boat along at a good rate of speed. Everything in the engine compartment is very easy to get to. The aft hatch in the pilot house has nice access to a strainer, a fuse, battery switch, the other battery, and the battery isolator. There's also two mufflers in here that are accessible, and the couplings there, very easy to get to the lower part of the bilge. One of the nice features of this boat is the giant cockpit. So if you're carrying a lot of people and want a good day boat with an enclosed head, little galley, the ability to sleep 4 people if you need to, it's a good choice. Bottom of the boat has a fully protected propeller, typical down east semi-displacement bottom. The boat has a 3-bladed prop, which is not uncommon for a gasoline V8. Take 2. You can't tell because of the shrink wrap, but the boat has a lot of flare to it, so I'm sort of underneath of it right here, and that is a distinctive feature of the Webbers Cove 29. The bottom of the boat is still smooth. It doesn't need to be stripped, it just needs to be normally sanded and painted.